Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Tennessee back on the practice field this morning. Practice number 3 is in the books. They had on helmets and shoulder pads today. Going to take a break tomorrow. Be back on the practice field on Saturday in full pads. And I think that's when business really starts to pick up with spring camp. But not a whole lot going on today. So I really wanted to jump on here and talk about recruiting because Tennessee has a massive recruiting weekend coming up on Saturday. A lot of guys going to be in town. A lot of elite level prospects and a couple of guys that are going to be here, current Tennessee commits. 5-star quarterback George McIntyre, 4-star tight end Jack Van Dorsey. They're coming here to build relationships. They're coming here to peer recruit, and that's something that we've seen George do since committing to Tennessee, right? We saw it earlier this week. Jamie French was in town. Already made a video on that a couple of days ago. If you missed it, go back and give it a watch. But I think George is going to be here anytime there is somebody that he can peer recruit and help get these guys in the boat. We're going to go through the list. We're going to take a look at a few guys on offense. We're going to look at a few guys on defense. Again, massive recruiting weekend. But before we get into it, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up just below the video. You guys know the deal by now. It's quick, free, easy. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it. If this is your first time on the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We don't pretend to be experts or insiders or media. None of that stuff. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like that, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We're going to be live on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's a fan call-in show. That's where you, the audience, gets to come on. You can talk about the first week of spring camp, what you're excited about, what you're concerned about. Make sure those memberships are up to date. In order to come on, you got to be a member of the channel. You can hit the join button down below. Just $1. If you like what we do, we would appreciate the support. But let's jump into it because I think when you talk peer recruiting, it starts with a couple of in-state wide receivers. 4-star wide receiver Cam Sparks. You can see the profile on the screen. He's one of the top guys in the state of Tennessee. 3rd-ranked player in the state according to the industry rankings. I made a video on Jamie French earlier this week. In that video, I mentioned something that VolQuest said, that Tennessee would love to land the 3 in-state kids, one of those being Cam Sparks, the other one also being a 4-star wide receiver in Radarius Jackson. You can see there, again, a top 5 in-state kid. They want to prioritize those in-state kids. Another one they've already got committed is 3-star wide receiver Joakim Dotson. Make your jokes, 3-star you, whatever you want to say. Just recently received an offer from Georgia, so his stock is going up. But again, what VolQuest said is you want to land those 3 in-state kids, and then you want to go get one of the elite guys, one of the big-time national prospects, whether that be Jamie French, who visited earlier this week, also has an official visit scheduled coming up in the summer. Also, Caleb Cunningham and Travis Smith, a couple of highly ranked wide receiver prospects. Cunningham, Smith, both expected to be in April. Be in Knoxville coming up in April. But again, this is a good time to focus on those relationships, in-state guys. They've got the relationship with George, so I think that's where it starts with this weekend's visit. Another guy that I want to talk about, when again talking about Jack Van Dorsey being here, is another tight end prospect. That's Deshaun Brame, 4-star tight end, 6'4.5", 225. You can see there the rankings, a top 100 player, one of the best ranked tight ends in the country, ranked 3rd. According to the On3 industry rankings. This was a quote from Matt Ray over at VolQuest, said that Brame is a grown man. Since Alec Ablin has continued to do a nice job there, Brame knows that he's the only tight end in the class that the Vols are interested in pairing with Jack Van Dorsey. If he doesn't commit, if they can't get Brame in the boat, they have told him, we only want one. The only guy we want, we've already got committed. That's Jack Van Dorsey. But the only guy, the only other tight end in the country we'll make an exception for is you. Matt Ray goes on to say that stands out to Brame. Says he'll be in town March the 23rd. That's coming up this weekend to spend time with Ablin, Van Dorsey, and also George McIntyre. Says those relationships with McIntyre and Van Dorsey, both those guys in on him heavy, working on him. He likes the idea of teaming up with those guys. Says Oregon continues to show well also, but Tennessee is certainly in it. Plans to take an official visit in June. This was a quote from an article with On3 talking about that relationship with George, talking about that relationship with Jack Van Dorsey. It says, I will just be looking to continue to build that relationship. I'm going to go down there with George and Jack, so just being able to talk to them more and get to know them and see what they like about it, it will be big for me. He goes on to say it's been going well. I talked to George a good bit before he committed, and he kind of let me know where he was going to go. Said they always tell me that it feels like home when they are on campus, and they let me know that that's where they want me to go. Now, he was in town back last season for the Texas A&M game. Loved the environment. But again, an ongoing theme that we continue to hear, and we talked about this on the live stream last night. If you missed last night's live stream, go back, give it a watch. 2 hours. 2 hours of talking Tennessee football and recruiting, but something we mentioned last night is Josh Heupel's ability to balance NIL and the way college football is in 2024 with the transfer portal, guys being able to, bounce around wherever they want to go play football. Josh Heupel has found a way to manage that, balance that, but also continue to build the culture, build the family. And those are buzzwords, right, that you hear all over college football, but I think it's authentic. I think it is genuine when you're talking about Josh Heupel and this Tennessee football program. Now what I want to do, I want to switch over to the defensive side of the ball. We've talked a lot of recruiting the last couple of months. Wide receiver, offensive line, obviously getting George in the boat was huge, but something we've not talked a whole lot about is defense. So I want to flip over and talk about a couple of guys on defense that will be in town this weekend as well. Let's start with the edge position, and that is 4-star edge rusher Zion Grady, 6'4", 225, out of Troy, Alabama. You can see there, again, an elite level prospect. I've talked about this a lot, but you look at the recruiting board for this class of 25, and it is elite. There is elite talent, top 100 talent across the board, 2 to 3 deep. Can Tennessee land their fair share to get that top 5, dare I say top 3 class? But you can see that Zion Grady ranks 64th overall, one of the top 10 edge rushers in the country. Decommitted from Alabama, got a solid relationship with Coach Chop. So far this spring, he's visited Georgia, Auburn, and now he's going to be taking that visit to Tennessee. Also has some visits scheduled with Miami, Florida State, Ohio State, possibly Alabama as well. He's already locked in 4 officials. He'll be at Miami on May the 31st, FSU on June the 7th. Tennessee got that official visit scheduled for June the 14th, and then Georgia on the 21st. Also, after the unofficial to Auburn just recently, he's looking to get an official scheduled with them as well. What he said about Tennessee, said, I want to get back to Tennessee. Coach Chop and I have been talking since 9th grade. There is a great energy at Tennessee, and I just want to talk with the coaches more. The energy, right? All of a sudden, Nico commits. Nico pulls the trigger. Nico goes to Tennessee. The photo shoots come out. The dark mode jerseys. It's cool to go back to Tennessee again. Tennessee is back on the map. Tennessee is nationally relevant. Him talking about the energy at Tennessee. I love to hear it. That's the authentic nature of what Josh Heupel is building. I want to go on and talk about another guy on defense. We mentioned this guy last night during the live stream. That's 4-star safety Lagonza Hayward. Shout out to his family for popping in the live chat last night. They're excited to take this visit again. Elite prospect, 113th nationally, one of the top 15 DBs in the country. Now, depending on where you look, on 3 has him 8th, 247 Sports, 6. He's 6'1", 196 pounds, out of the state of Georgia. Matt Ray says Vols in a great spot here. Actually went as far as saying the Vols lead. Now, Georgia recently offered, and that's something you got to keep an eye on. He wants to take official visits this summer. Florida State, USC, Alabama, and Tennessee all have officials scheduled. June 21st is when he'll be in Tennessee officially, but he also plans to take an official to Georgia after recently getting that offer. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, something I love about Lagonza Howard, I love this story. Reading an article from On3 talking about when he got his scholarship offer from the Vols. This is a lengthy quote, but bear with me because I love what he has to say here. He says, that's the reason why Tennessee is still number 1 to this day. There was so much love from the moment I stepped foot in Knoxville. He said, I walked down and I saw like 60,000 people out there waiting on the players, and I was starstruck. He goes on to say Tennessee was the first big school to start showing me love, so that meant a lot to me at the time too. I went in, I was sitting down when Coach Banks walked up to me. I didn't know it was him at first because he had a hat on. Said it was my first time meeting him. We talked for a second. He told me to go measure in, get my weight real quick. I got my height and weight checked. And when I came back, he had the hat off, and I realized it was Tim Banks. He goes on and says he started talking to me more about my game. He just went on. Then he started to walk off, walked back and told me, oh, I almost forgot to tell you, you now have an offer from the University of Tennessee. He goes on to say, I jumped up, told my cousin who was at the table with me. Then I went and called my mom. She started crying on the phone. Then I went to the bathroom and started crying. I came back out. We watched the game. It was love the whole time I was there. I just loved being in Knoxville. I thought that was a great story. Wanted to share it. Great lengthy quote there, but it just shows how much that offer meant to Lagonza Hayward. And again, an elite level defensive back who will also be here this weekend. Can Tennessee continue to push? Again, Matt Ray at VolQuest went as far to say as Tennessee is leading for the 4-star defensive back. One last guy that I want to take a look at, and this guy has me giddy. This guy has me excited. I love the measurables. He'll be here this weekend. That's 4-star edge rusher Jared Smith. Again, top 50 guy. Top 50, top 100, top. You've got all these guys inside what they call the on 300 that Tennessee has a legitimate shot at. The top 20 players in the country, Tennessee's in on 5 of those guys. That's a deep recruiting board. Can you land them? I know it's early. It's March. We got to get through spring practice. We got to get through the summer, but you're going to have an opportunity to land some of these big-time elite prospects. Again, got a great relationship with Rodney Garner, got a great relationship with Coach Chop. Going to be visiting South Carolina for official visits. South Carolina towards the end of May, Georgia June 7th through the 9th, Tennessee June 14th through the 16th, USC June 21st through the 23rd. So again, these guys are going to be on campus in the spring, and then they're looking to come back. They've already got officials scheduled in the summer. He said, quote, Coach Garner, Coach Chopper, my best relationships. They're old school guys. They got Jordan Ross there, and I know him from high school. Relationships. Jordan Ross has that relationship, so he's a really good guy. Just the home feeling those guys bring, and by the way, they communicate with me every single day. Now, what I like about Jared Smith is the measurables, right? The length, 6'6", 235, scouting report from Andrew Ivins over at 247 Sports, a lanky pass rusher that aces the eye test, still growing and maturing, but has elite features to work with as he's verified 6'6.5", 225, and a near 82-inch wingspan along with 35.5-inch arms. Might also have some of the biggest feet in the class with a size 18 shoe. Spent much of his freshman season with a hand in the dirt, working off a multi-look 3-man front. Hulking frame tends to just overwhelm opposing offensive tackle as he wheels his way into the backfield. Pretty green from a technical standpoint, but shifts his weight well. Tends to find plenty of success with a long arm. Elite COD for a younger teenager, which likely stems from his basketball background. Also excels in backside pursuit and will make his fair share of stops outside the hashes. Needs to bulk up over the next few years, learn how to formulate more of a regimented game plan in pass rushing situations, but has the length and burst to be a difference maker on Saturdays and maybe eventually Sundays if everything comes together. So that's Jared Smith, 4-star edge rusher in the class of 25. We'll be in town this weekend. There's some other visitors going to be here as well. 4-star wide receiver Thomas Blackshear, a couple of 4-star safety linebacker hybrids. Eric Winters, also Javion Butts, a defensive back. Couple of class of 26 guys, wide receivers Shavar Young, Brody Keefe, 4-star guys. Shavar Young from Brentwood Academy in Tennessee and Brody Keefe out of North Carolina. But again, a lot of talent going to be here this weekend. Just wanted to put out a big update today because, not a lot going on at practice to really deep dive into and talk about. So I wanted to put out the recruiting update. Do me a favor and smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Jump into the comment section. Who is your priority in this class of 25? What position group? Any specific players? Is it offensive line? Is it defensive line? Is it those skill positions? Let's talk about it in the comments. Also, go check out the merchandise for Talkin VAWLS. You guys know where, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We would appreciate any and all support. That link is in the description below as well. More videos coming your way throughout the weekends. Hope to see you guys Sunday night for Talkin VAWLS Live, a fan call-in show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But that is going to do it. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.